everybody. Welcome to Married Lifers.
Married Lifers, what's up, everybody?
So today we are going to talk about the struggles.
The struggles in and out. La lucha.
You're so extra. So,
The struggle.
what did you want to start with? Financial? So we have a list, okay? You want me to read the list off, babe, and then you can pick which one you want to do, or do you want to just start from the top? You want me to read them off?
Yeah.
Okay.
But remember that depending on my timing, when I have to call back, so don't get it twisted.
Okay.
So pick it.
Okay, so the struggles that we have that we're going to talk about tonight is of financial, emotional, mental, day-to-day, family, kids, friendships, work, balancing life in and out, prison code, morals, ethics, communication, trust, time. And then you put MIMS, but MIMS we know is not a struggle. Well, I guess it's a struggle for you because you need everything to make sense to you.
Yeah, make it make sense.
So which one did you want to start with today?
Let's start financial first, because that encompasses certain things, and then we can get into the others. So,
Okay.
because the struggles, so like in here for us, you know that nothing's free in prison. They got people doing stuff. So guys got to hustle. Guys got to slang. Guys got to extort. Guys got to do a lot of different things. You know what I mean? So, and the hustle doesn't necessarily mean like selling dope, even though they do that. But you know, people do artwork, poetry. There's people that do people's laundry. People that clean up cells or wax their floors. They do all kinds of different things. So there's always a hustle to make some money, because prison is an industry of capitalism. So everything costs $1 million. So we got to make that money. But I know it's a struggle for you guys, because you guys send us money. You know what I mean? But on the outside, the inside couldn't flourish the way they do. Whether somebody's helping them the right way or the wrong way, it doesn't matter. Without the outside, we ain't got nothing. Period.
Yeah.
But I know it's hard for you guys, because you know, the phone calls cost money. You know, video business costs money. Postage costs money. Emails cost money. Transportation to come visit costs money. Sending your loved ones money or packages or books or whatever they need and want costs money. You know what I mean? Then you got your own living expenses out there, cost money. So it's real. Struggle is real financially.
I'm glad you realize that, because sometimes I feel like you don't.
Well,
No, I
I
didn't say you didn't say it.
that.
I didn't say that. I just said sometimes it seems like you don't realize that.
That's not necessarily true.
It is, because sometimes I think about it.
Communication would sort all that out.
Yeah, but sometimes, baby, you get lost in what's going on with you and what you have to struggle with. Like, I feel like you forget what I do and vice versa. So,
that's true.
You know,
I get that. Like, sometimes, but sometimes you don't tell me all the ins and outs of everything that you do or need to do to cover something financially or nothing like that either. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I know you worry.
You said yourself that there's times where you don't want to stress me, or you know what I mean. You just need to be able to take care of things the way you need to take care of it. And I get that too.
Yeah. I mean, there's a few times that happened, like with being able to go visit and stuff like that, because it's not free. You know what I mean? And the thing that trips me out with that is that, like, the system knows that you guys, they're paying you. So you work, 5 days a week? In Lyman, you were working 8 hours a day and you were only making $18 a month. But then they hike up all the prices for everything.
$9 a month.
Yeah, but then they hike up all the prices. So that trips me out, because it's like they know that you can't, like, for instance, we'll say like a bottle of men's Dove, or like I get him Old Spice, the shampoo and conditioner. Like on the streets, I can get that at Walmart, a big bottle for $7-8. For that same bottle in the prison, they're charging 13. And it's like, you know, these men aren't making shit, but you're gonna, you know, double everything. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's how they do.
And then
See, I never been robbed before until I came to prison.
I would have
The
to agree
man
with
gets
that.
me. Everything's up now. When we were in the Supermax, so in the Supermax, this is how dirty they did us financially. So a box of saltine crackers was like $1.59, right? And instead of selling us the whole box, they would sell us each sleeve for $1.40.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Like they would have sold you the whole box, they would have doubled that price or tripled it. You know what I mean?
And they would sell a box of Nutty Bars, which got 6 of them in there, and they would sell us singles for 80 cents. So if you bought the whole box, you're paying 3 times what the whole box is.
Yeah.
It's madness.
So I was looking at one of the California websites, and they said that they have the highest percentile price for prison commissary for the snacks. Like they got the highest hike out of all the states.
This place goes up too. Like it's madness. Like you trip out on some of the stuff that they go, and it's like, oh, this month they'll put up a memo. This month we're raising the prices on this, and this. And it's like, what? You just raised it last month.
Yeah. So I tripped out because my husband's gonna need a new TV soon. And how big is your TV now, baby? 13 inches or something?
They're 15.
15 inches. Okay. So if you go to Walmart, you can get a nice 55-inch TV. I just seen them on sale for like $250, like a Sony brand or a good brand, you know.
Securus.
So my husband looked at the price yesterday, and it's $279 for a 15-inch TV. Like what? And then he was telling me that they had to buy their remotes separately, so that's another $7 on top of it. And it's like that doesn't, like, it doesn't, the math ain't mathin', right? For me, it's not mathin', because like, how do you charge that kind of price? Like, how do you up them when you know they're not making anything? So now they're putting that burden on the families. You know what I mean? They're taxing the shit out of us in essence. Like even for snacks, like they just recently went up. I tripped out because I used to buy these long burritos from Walmart, right? I even went the other day. They went up. They used to be $1. Now they're $1.47. The same exact burrito, the same brand. They're charging $5 in the vending machines at the Visiting. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how does that make sense? If you look at anything in there, it's like that. Like the little Castle burgers, if you will, you know, just a package of 2 little hamburgers, it's $5 now in the vending machine. You can get a whole box for $10 that have like 20 of them in there. You know what I mean? So I don't understand like their logic in that, like how they think it's okay to burn the families the way they do. Because at the end of the day, they don't want them committing more crimes or doing anything worse, but then they're gonna raise the prices all crazy. You know what I mean? So that's a financial burden. That's a struggle. You know what I mean? And no matter who wants to say what about it, because I've seen these arguments between the prison wives on TikTok. That TikTok drama is kind of funny and entertaining to me. But they go back and forth about it. Oh, my husband's this and he has this money. Okay, but you know that's, if he's getting that kind of money, you know it's not in the good way. You know what I mean? Not everybody's doing that. And then for you to blast it all over the place, like, oh, he has all this money, he sends me money, he can pay for all this and that. Like, if you don't want your dude doing bad, then they're not doing that. My husband has a legit job in there. He's trying to do good, but again, he's only making $9 a month, for what he does, which is crazy to me. So a financial, I want to say is probably, in my opinion, people might not agree, but a financial burden to me, or the financial struggle, if you will, is probably the biggest one. So I don't know how you guys feel about that, or what you think. Like, what is your biggest struggle with being with somebody, whether it's a family member or, your husband being locked up? Like, would you agree to that, with the financial being like one of the highest struggles that you have? Because even if you have a good job, like I have a super good job, but it's still a struggle. You know what I mean? The prices out here are going up crazy, and then in there going up crazy. Like, I understand. I couldn't even really understand that. But if they made it more, a little bit more than what the regular price is, because they got to cover the difference getting it. I don't know why, but why does it have to be such a big hike? You know what I mean? Like, for instance, the burritos bother the shit out of me, because you can go to Walmart and get that for $1.47. Even the sandwiches, the brand and everything, they're $2.70 at Walmart, or $2.42 or something close to that, and we're being charged $5. That's double the price. You know what I mean? So, and I don't know if they realize that they're that ends up being a family's burden or not. So we'll see. And then I know from my husband's end, you know what I mean? Like, he gets frustrated as a man. He wants to be able to provide for his daughter and I, but I don't want to say I control that part, but I don't want him doing anything bad, so I don't allow it, if you will. I don't even like saying it that way, but I stay on him. I want him to be in a positive mindset. I want him to be doing things correctly, not incorrectly, if you will. Like, we've been there, done that. And you know what I mean? It doesn't get us anything. It doesn't. As some of you know, my husband was in Supermax for 18 years. You know what I mean? Our visits and stuff were always behind glass, and he was always locked down. So now that he has the freedom that he has here with contact visits and being able to move around and not be locked down like that, like, I want to keep it that way, if you will. So I don't like the whole him going off track, if you will. Let's see. The other topics we have are emotional. I think that goes into with fighting too. Emotional struggles. I think even though guys don't want to admit it, they do struggle emotionally in there. My husband will say it's more women, but they know how to control their emotions and not let their emotions control them. I won't speak for all women, but for me, my emotions control me. I ain't even gonna lie. I'm gonna sit here and act like they don't, because they do. That's why I said, like, last week too, like, when I'm in my feelings, again, your emotions, it's hard for me to get myself out of that, to get out of my feelings. You know what I mean? So I don't know who's on with us, but thank you for being on. I can see there's a few of you. So I don't want to get too much. I feel like sometimes I hit on all the topics while we're waiting for my husband to call back, and then I forget to go back because I already covered it. So I hope whoever went to visit this past weekend had good visits. I know that I went today. My husband was happy because our daughter can't go with me all the time to see him. The last time she went was at the beginning of July, and she went with me today to see her dad. So that's always a good thing. He gets happy when he gets to see her and spend the day with her. When our kids start growing up and they become adults, they're just like, they don't make time for us like they used to when they were in the house. Let's see, what else about emotional struggles? I don't know, just emotions that I don't know. I get it. Like I said, I get in my feelings and I can't get out of them. We were also going to talk about mental struggles. I think that goes hand in hand with emotional struggles as well, like your mental health. Hit their mental health in there. Sometimes you think about when you start fighting, like last week when we were fighting, like I get worried because, um, he could just sit back there and think. And my husband, if anybody's noticed, my husband goes to the fucking extreme with everything. Like he doesn't know how to just, like I don't want to say be regular, but he doesn't know how to just go a little bit. He goes crazy overboard. So like I worry about his mental health when we start fighting like that because I don't know where his mind's thinking or what he's going to do because he goes to the extreme. Lisa said, as far as money providing goes, I mean, how do you balance his emotions about it? Because most guys are natural providers and it gets them in their heads. So yeah, that's what I was kind of saying. Like my husband wants to be able to provide. And at one point in time, he was able to do that, but it wasn't in a positive way. Like I think you know what I'm saying now, Alicia. So I just try to remind him that I need him as much as he needs me, I need him. So I know it's hard for him to not be able to provide like he wants to be able to provide, but at the same time, he has to look at the downfalls as if, if he say he does go the bad route, you know what I mean? Like what's the downfall of it? We're going to lose our contact visits. He's going to lose where he's at now, how long and hard he worked to get to be able where he's to be out of Supermax. So he'll lose all of that. You know what I mean? And I know it's still hard for him when I tell him that, and I try to remind him of why he can't revert back to the shit he was doing before. How do you help your husband get through that, Alicia? So I just remind my husband of what we can lose if he reverts back to what he was doing to be able to provide for us, because it's not going to be in a positive way. Even if he had, say he was able to get 20 different jobs in there, that's 9 times 20. You know what I mean? He still ain't making nothing. It still ain't going to help. Yeah. So yeah, I remind him of everything, like, where we started out and where we're at now. To be honest with you, I think back in the days when we started and we had our daughter, like, I don't know how I survived off of 5-10 minute calls when he was in Supermax in Arizona. I think they were longer than that. They might have been 15, but they weren't no longer than 15. And it was like one every 2 weeks or once a month. I mean, we lived through letters. And of course, he's in a different state. So it wasn't like I was up there seeing him all the time. And then I think about what we have now, like, how can we revert back to that? You know what I mean? Like, I can't mentally. So then that would go into the mental part of it. You know what I mean? I tell him, suck it up, LOL, just kidding. Honestly, pretty similar. I remind him of what he could lose and also that he provides for me in priceless ways that no amount of money could replace. That too, I forgot about that, obviously. But I guess that's me saying too, like, being able to see him and touch him and kiss him, you know what I mean? That means more to me than money. Like I always tell him, I'd rather struggle to provide for us in a positive way than have him do it. Cause it's easy money, you know what I mean? And fast, but it's as easy as it comes, as easy as it goes, and as fast as you can get in trouble. And with them, like when they get in trouble, it takes for the fuck ever for them to get out of it. And I don't mean just like weeks or days. It can take years. Like, as well as I do. If they get knocked down into, like, say, for example, closed custody, you make one bad move, you could be doing good for years. Like 4 or 5 years doing perfect, no problems, working. You make one mistake, they'll knock you down into closed custody. You got to work literally for a year or more to get back into general population out of closed custody, right? So, like, I always tell him that too. Like, you got to think of that. Like, you make one little mistake and there goes everything that we have for a long ass time. It's not just for a week or for 30-day sanctions or whatever the sanction is. It's like, it's messed up for a long time. And you have to think about that. Like, the penalties, they make them so severe. So I always got to tell him like that too and remind him of that. Because it's hard, man. It's hard. Like, I know a lot of guys, and we've talked about this before, like a lot of guys out on the street don't give a fuck. They'll live off a chick and just be happy like that. Be happy being a mooch and a scrub. And I know for my husband and your husband, they're definitely not like that. They're men's, if you will. Manly men, or however you want to put it. Like, they want to be the providers. They're used to taking care of their family and doing the most for them and stuff, but they're in a position right now that they can't do that. I mean, they can, but we prefer them not to, right? Because I don't know about you, but I don't like being without my husband. Or I do know about you, sorry. I know we both don't like being without them. And when they get in trouble, like, it's just too much. That's why I was like, what is your biggest struggle, Alicia? Would you agree with the financial, or is there something else that you feel like over the financial part of it? Sometimes I feel like I'm ranting when I say stuff. Like, I get my point across, I guess. Time and finances. Yeah, time was number 10 on ours. So, see my pretty little list. But yeah, and that goes with them getting in trouble too, right? So, like, my husband now, where he's at, he can call me all day and all night outside of his job, right? And then, count, obviously, but he can call me. And if they get in trouble and they go to close custody, like, it makes it worse because they can only call, correct me if I'm wrong, they can only call like twice out of the day or 3 times out of the day. And it's like everybody's trying to get on the phone during that, whatever time they're out of their cell for. So then that causes crunch on your time. You know what I mean? Time, because it seems there's never enough of it for us to connect, Yeah. And that's what I was saying, like, with the fighting, like, it sucks when you fight and you get into these arguments. Because we all have them, right? We all have our days when we're fighting, or we're upset, or they're upset, and we have to fight in 20-minute increments. And that's annoying to me, because it's like, you have a time limit, like, especially when you hear that chick say, you have 1 minute left, and it's like, oh bitch, like, I still need to yell at my husband, like, I'm not even done with my point yet. We take advantage as much as possible, but there's always things we can't control. Phone lines, work, lockdowns, all that stuff. And then, yeah, if any write-ups happen. Yeah, and then these phones now, like, I used to be able to talk to my husband till 10:30 at night, right? The phones start messing up at 8. Sorry, guys, I'm getting over being sick. My throat's like jacked up dry. But I want to say that at that time, like, it starts messing up. And for me, I could hear my husband clear as day, but he can't. So now we're getting cut down, like 2.5 hours of the time that we'd get to spend together. Like, something's always happening where the time's getting cut. How do you feel about the video visits right now, Alicia? Are you going into withdrawals? So I am, to be honest with you, a little bit. I have a video visit with my husband every day, and it's been a week that I haven't got to have a video visit, and I'm like not knowing what to do with myself. But on my side out here, I balance work, family, school. It's never ending, all the ways we get pulled as their wives out here. Yes, these phones suck. Yes, I miss his face so much. It feels weird, right? So that's what I tell my husband, like, you get into a routine. And he's a stickler for his routine. So he gets mad when I get mad, because if he differs from our routine, I'm like, that's when he starts the quota bullshit. Right? So he'll say, oh, if I get mad that he didn't call, he's like, oh, I didn't hit the quota. And I'm like, stop saying that. I hate when he says quota. But the whole on our side out here, balancing work, family, school, some of us have 2 jobs, some of us have family that you take care of, our kids. Like there's a lot. And then our husbands are a full-time job too. I was talking to one of my friends and she was like, we were both talking about our job and our second jobs. And she's like, I actually have 3 jobs because my husband's a full-time job, right? And I'm like, oh shit. Like I didn't even think of it like that. But yeah, it's a full-time job. I hate these recordings. They take so long.
Start the conversation now.
Sheesh, it's a long line.
And it's ridiculous. So Alicia is on talking to me.
So what's the struggle? Hi, Alicia.
So we were talking about money. So she asked me, I'm going to go back, Alicia. She said, as far as money providing goes, I mean, how do you balance his emotions about it? Because most guys are natural providers and it gets to them in their heads.
They're natural what?
Providers.
Oh, yeah, we've had some disagreements in that aspect because where, I mean, don't get me wrong. People talk about guys that use this, women, and this, and that. You have that inside prison and outside of prison, right?
Mm-hmm.
But not everybody's like that. So, I know for me, I don't like having to depend on nobody, especially no goddamn woman. You know what I mean? So I want to be able to do my part and give back and be able to provide and help out, pay bills. If I want to be able to send my wife a gift or buy my kids this or help with this, you know what I mean? I want to be able to try to do that. You know what I mean? But it's hard when we're in positions where we can't do them things. You know what I mean? So I know sometimes it's a disagreement and a headbutt between partners over some of them issues and stuff. And I get it, you know what I mean? Because we're left with only the negative to think about. You know what I mean? As opposed to what's positive for us to be able to do. It just